So 1 in 4 Singaporeans is living paycheck to paycheck, which is super alarming considering that Singapore is one of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest nations in Southeast Asia. Which means with a population of 6 million and 1.5 million of us are living paycheck to paycheck, which means that there's very little left to save or to invest. So if you have clicked onto this video, you probably agree with me that Singapore is getting ridiculously expensive.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So in today's video, let's talk about what is living paycheck to paycheck and what are some things that we can do to escape that. So the term living paycheck to paycheck, as defined by Investopedia, is used to describe an individual who is unable to meet financial obligations due to reasons like inability to budget or the loss of income. This could mean that a person who's earning $5,000 a month has to use that same $5,000 to pay for his daily expenses, to continue functioning, to earn another month's salary, to pay off for expenses again, which then becomes like a vicious cycle that is very, very hard to escape.
The cycle never ends.
And with the increasing cost of living in Singapore, which is already high, this explains why many people struggle to save or even invest. And in a survey done last year by Economy's Intelligence Unit, Singapore was ranked the top with New York City in the most expensive cities to live in. But I got to say that being in Singapore, we're always striving to be the top, and this time we made the list too.
Oh cool, we made the list.
But jokes aside, I started to realize that things around me have significantly gone up in price when a tray of eggs, of 30 eggs that used to be $3 is now $6 to $7. And remember the last time when you caught a movie in the theaters, tickets were below $10 for weekdays and maybe $12 on the weekends. But right now the tickets are at $16, which is crazily expensive and insane to me.
Alright, check this out. This is crazy.
So I came across Forrester's Financial Wellbeing Segmentation, which was a survey done on 1,130 Singaporeans on their financial well-being. Because if I feel the pinch, I believe that my fellow Singaporeans will as well. So in the survey, they group us Singaporeans into 4 different segments, or what some will call a matrix. So the 4 segments are as follows. We've got the stretched spenders. So these are people who are living paycheck to paycheck and feel anxious about their financial situation. So stretched spenders makes up 25% of the survey respondents, which is really scary. And in the survey, it also states that the main challenge that this segment faces is knowing how to save money, how to invest, and knowing how to pay your bills, which is what gave me the motivation to start this YouTube channel. So within a segment of stretched spenders, 62% are overwhelmed by debt, 73% says that debt has impacted their ability to pay bills, which leaves them very stressed out and uncertain about the future. And then the next one we had is Carefree Spenders. So these are the people who are living paycheck to paycheck, but they don't feel anxious about their financial situation. So Carefree Spenders consists of 28% of the sample size, and these segments live paycheck to paycheck, spending everything that they earn every single month. So they do have the same challenges as the stretched spenders, like not knowing how to save or how to invest, but they do not feel stressed out about their situation. So in my books, this segment of people prefers a little bit of a YOLO life.
You only live once.
Because you only live once and you work hard on your day job, so you need to enjoy yourself to the fullest, which I fully agree. But at the same time, there must also be some situation awareness on your financial well-being so that you do not burden your future self. And then we have the security seekers. So this group of people do not live paycheck to paycheck, but they do feel anxious about their financial situation, and they take up 30% of the respondents. So sometimes I find myself in this group because maybe I'm constantly worried about everything.
Not worried. Are you worried?
So the challenges that this segment face is pretty much similar to the first 2 segments, but the main challenges here are more skewed towards retirement planning and managing their finances, and not so much about investing or saving. But 28% of them are worried, which is probably where I will be in, and there's 26% of them who are quite stable about their situation right now. And lastly, we got the cushion savers. So these are the group of people that do not live paycheck to paycheck and they do not feel anxious about their financial situation. However, this segment only makes up 17% of the respondents, and expected, these respondents in this segment have very few financial hardships, and their main financial challenges are learning how to afford for a house and planning for retirement. So if you relate to any of these segments, you got to realize that you are not alone in this situation, as we're all learning and growing. So this brings us to today's question of how can we improve our current situation and get our finances back on track. So the first thing you want to do is to assess your financial situation. So this can be as easy as using Google Sheets to put in your income, your expenses, your debt, and any other assets that you have. So with that all plotted out, the next thing you can do is to identify those that are costing too much or taking too much money away from your income. So think of it like a bucket. So the bucket is your bank account, and then the water is your income and assets all in one. Debt and expenses are little holes that are causing leaks, which leads to less water in your bucket. So the ideal situation to have is to reduce the leaks as much as possible so that the water doesn't run out by the time the next batch of water comes in. But if the water is overflowing, then you got a happy problem on your hand, my friend, which means that you need a bigger bucket. So now you have identified your leaks, which are your expenses and debt, you want to see ways or look for ways to reduce them by creating a budget. So budgeting means looking through your expenses and what items you can remove from it to stop money from flowing out. So maybe if you have a premium Netflix subscription, can you downsize to a standard one instead, saving you $4 a month? Or maybe downsizing your mobile phone plan as well. So by using a SIM-only plan, you can save a few dollars here and there. Or maybe eating out less at a restaurant but opting to go to a hawker center instead. So after you're done your budgeting, the next thing you want to do is to look at the debt portion. So what you want to do is to list your debt in order from the highest interest one to the lowest interest one. So the goal here is to clear up the high interest debt because interest can compound really quickly and it can be a snowball effect, which is not where you want to be. So with the money that you have saved from your budgeting, this money can go towards paying off debt, which prevents the debt from snowballing. So now that we have fixed some of the leaks here and there, the next step here is really important, which is finding ways to increase your income or the amount of water coming in every single month. So with more income, you get to pay down your debt much faster, and the ultimate goal is to have surplus that can be then put towards building an emergency fund or investing for your retirement. So to escape living paycheck to paycheck is not an easy task, and I do understand why, because these things do not happen overnight and it requires you to have good financial habits like sticking to your budget, not taking on unnecessary debt, and making this a habit in your lifestyle as well. So by doing so, it can give you a long-term financial security which can then reduce stress and anxiety on your end. So I do hope that you've learned something from this video. We'll greatly appreciate if you could drop us a like and subscribe if you haven't. And as always, stay safe, invest safe, and I'll see you soon in the next one.